We are now under a month and a half out from Sleep Token kicking off their completely sold out Even In Arcadia US Arena Tour. It begins September 16th in Duluth, Georgia. And in the time since it was announced, there was some speculation about who would support the band on the tour. Spiritbox was a name that was getting thrown around a little bit. Both bands are doing Louder Than Life this year on the same day. And then there were images of a flamingo at Spiritbox shows going around online, leading many to think that Spiritbox was teasing something along those lines. Some people were hoping for more of an evening with sort of thing with no opener in lieu of a longer Sleep Token set. But on Monday this week, all of our questions were answered as it was announced that Australian metal band Thornhill will be supporting Sleep Token on the Even In Arcadia tour. Of course, a huge opportunity for any band, but especially a band like Thornhill, who has a ton of heat right now. They just wrapped up their first ever North American headline tour. That tour did very, very well. They sold nearly 10,000 tickets across the entire run. There was a number of sold out shows. So why would the question, should Thornhill open for Sleep Token, be asked? Well, Thornhill previously announced a fall US tour supporting the band Landmvrks, and that Landmvrks tour takes place the exact same time frame as the Sleep Token tour. And late last week, Thornhill announced that they were dropping off of the Landmvrks tour. Here's what they said. Unfortunately, we have made the decision to step away from the tour supporting Landmvrks. We appreciate everyone involved, and by no means was this an easy decision to be made. Please do keep your ticket and see the rest of the bands on that lineup and support them however you can. An unexpected opportunity has come up for North America, and we will share more on that very soon. Thank you. And then on Monday this week, as we know now, they announced that they would be on that Sleep Token tour. And with that announcement came some, I don't know if I would necessarily say backlash or controversy or something like that. Those words are probably a little bit too harsh to explain all this, but there are some rather upset fans, and in most cases, it is rather justifiable, at least I think. People are understandably upset over a number of different things, mainly that some bought tickets for the Landmvrks tour specifically to see Thornhill. Now they are not there. They've since been replaced by the band Novelists. But, to spend money to specifically see one of these support bands on a tour only for that band to cancel, I mean, there's no other way to put it. It sucks because, one, it's annoying, and two, in most cases, as you probably know, ticket outlets do not typically offer refunds if a support band changes. That's why a lot of times you'll see something like lineup subject to change somewhere on the ticketing site, maybe the ticket itself, whatever. And I don't know if that's the case here, but I mean, that is normally the case. No refunds if the support lineup changes. And, in a time when things are tough for a lot of people, I mean, it's not exactly a great situation to be in, even if the tickets are, $20, $25, something like that. But then you tack on the fees on top. Suddenly you're now at $30, $35, maybe even $40, depending on the situation. And that's a lot of money for a lot of people right now, especially when, like that Landmvrks tour. I mean, it's a younger demographic, a younger crowd overall, I would say. And then you tack on everything else that goes into the concert experience, gas, food, babysitters, whatever it may be. Going to any show is pretty expensive these days, no matter how cheap, quote unquote, the ticket may or may not be. And if it is a case of no refund or a refund is hard to get, it's just not exactly ideal. And you could argue that you can sell the ticket, but if the shows aren't sold out and in clubs or small theaters where a lot of it is standing room only, show's not sold out, if you're not buying tickets for specific seats necessarily, if it's just general admission standing room only, I mean, it doesn't really make a ton of sense. Why would you buy a resale ticket when you can just buy one directly from the source for, roughly the same price? So I can see and understand the frustration there. To me, at least, it is justifiable. There's also some people basically saying that dropping off of a tour you already announced because something better came along is unethical. And I mean, I don't know if it's really that deep. I'm sure. Is it ideal? No. Does it cause added stress to people on Landmvrks' team and the other bands, including the band members themselves? Yeah, most likely, but let's be real. Bands are a business. It is all about taking things as far as you can, building the biggest and strongest fan base that you can, capitalizing on all the hype that you can. I mean, who in their right mind would say no to a tour with Sleep Token, the biggest, most popular, trendiest, relevant band in rock and metal right now? And nothing against Landmvrks, but we're talking small theaters versus sold out arenas here? The decision, I think, is kind of obvious of what makes sense to do for your career. You know, I used to be a booking agent, and I've seen this type of thing before, not quite leaving a tour to do something as big as Sleep Token, but, you know, it is, of course, always an unfortunate circumstance. You know, it's a bit unfair, I guess you could even argue, but at times it is kind of necessary. I mean, I think it would be kind of shitty for something only marginally bigger. You know, if we were talking, just for an example, going from a tour that was in 1,000 cap rooms versus, you know, jumping off to do a tour that's in 2,500 caps or something like that. But we are talking venues that are like 10 to 15 times bigger, you know, going from that Landmvrks tour to the Sleep Token tour. And let's be real. I mean, Landmvrks probably would have canceled their own tour if they were offered the Sleep Token tour. So, I mean, of course, I'm speculating there, but you know what I mean. And again, nothing against Landmvrks, but to me, that just is what it is. It seems obvious to me. So I totally understand it. I would have done the same thing if I were in that situation. There are also some people that are upset now that they just flat out don't have the opportunity to see Thornhill since the Sleep Token tour is totally sold out. They don't want to take if they weren't going to go see Sleep Token already, they don't want to have to take out a second mortgage to buy some of these Sleep Token resale tickets, especially just to see Thornhill play for, you know, what you got to figure will probably be 30 to maybe 45 minutes. The tour is completely sold out, which is a bummer for sure. I mean, if you're losing that opportunity, but to that point, that is exactly what Thornhill is doing, jumping on this Sleep Token tour. I mean, they're, again, going from a small theater tour to a sold-out arena tour. It would make zero sense not to do that when they're going, you know, from selling 10,000 tickets across an entire headline tour this past spring to double that every single night for nearly a month. Who knows what this could do for their career? Like I mentioned, they already have a ton of hype. They sold out some of their own headline shows and clubs, and this tour could very well give Thornhill enough momentum, the momentum they need to move from headlining in clubs and go up to theaters all on their own. Their latest album, Bodies, that dropped earlier this year. It's an excellent album. It performed very, very well for them. It got great reviews. Most of the fans seem to love it. I actually had the singer of Thornhill, Jacob Charlton, on the show a couple of months ago. I'll put a link to that down below if you want to check that out. But I would love to hear your thoughts on all of this. Did Thornhill make the right call leaving the Landmvrks tour for the Sleep Token tour? Are you going to any of the Even in Arcadia shows? Are you excited to see Thornhill? Were you hoping for someone else? And if so, who? Let me know down below. But for now, that is all that I got for you. Thanks so much for hanging out. Feel free to drop a like and subscribe below if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time.